We spend a lot of time celebrating the super genius, the high IQ mind. But what if that's only one piece of a much bigger and honestly, a much smarter picture? Today, we're going to explore why humanity's survival might actually depend less on a single type of supercomputer brain and more on a whole ecosystem of different minds, all working together. Just imagine a forest where every single tree is a profound philosopher. They're all just standing there contemplating the meaning of existence, but nobody is actually finding food or fixing the shelters. It sounds incredibly intellectual, right? But in reality, it's a complete disaster. And that's the problem with what you could call a cognitive monoculture. So we tend to put that hyper-analytical brain up on a pedestal, but biology is way more clever than that. It uses this principle called the effect of compensation. All it really means is that if your brain isn't a lightning-fast processor in one area, that cognitive energy gets rerouted to build up other equally vital strengths. For instance, someone who isn't a brilliant abstract thinker might have absolutely exceptional emotional intelligence.
And this brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today: cognitive diversity. It's the simple but really profound idea that the huge variety of human minds isn't a bug. It's our species' ultimate insurance policy. We need every single type to build a society that's resilient and adaptable.
Okay, so let's look at our first comparison. We've got two different types of minds that are both brilliant at handling pure chaos, but, and this is the interesting part, they get there in completely opposite ways. So check this out. What's so fascinating here is you have two paths to the exact same outcome: calm. On one side, you've got the overthinker strategist. They're calm because, trust me, they've already run every possible disaster scenario in their head. On the other side, the hardened survivor. They're calm because real life has already thrown far worse at them. The strategist's calm is theoretical. The survivor's is earned.
The strategist's power is all about hyper-preparedness. Before the building even starts to shake, they've already mentally mapped out 3 different escape routes. By the time a crisis actually hits, they've emotionally processed the worst-case scenario so many times that the real event can almost feel, well, boring. They've already seen this movie.
But the survivor's power? That's not about theory, it's about scars. Their calm wasn't achieved through foresight. It was bought and paid for with suffering. They rely on the muscle memory of just getting through it. And here's the crucial point. When the strategist's elegant, multi-point plan completely falls apart, the survivor is the one who just wordlessly picks up the tools and starts fixing things. No instruction manual needed. All right, let's move on to our next set of archetypes and see how this all plays out in the incredibly complex and, let's be honest, often exhausting world of social dynamics.
For some people, a simple conversation can feel like trying to run an emotional obstacle course. We can call them decoders. Their brains are just constantly processing everything, reading microexpressions, analyzing vocal tone, hunting for subtext. They're basically human lie detectors who never asked for the job, and it is absolutely draining.
So you've got the decoder on one side, just perpetually tired from analyzing everyone's hidden motives. But their counterpart in the ecosystem is the social stabilizer. This person isn't playing 4D chess in their head during a conversation. Instead, they offer something psychologists call unconditional positive regard, which is really just a feeling of total, uncomplicated acceptance. And that right there is the stabilizer's gift. Their brain doesn't waste energy on all those social games. They transmit a simple, honest energy, almost like a calm animal. You know these people. They're the ones you can finally stop performing for. You just sit with them, take a deep breath, and feel safe. Their simplicity is their superpower.
Now, this idea of hidden strengths doesn't just apply to these big archetypes. It applies to specific cognitive quirks that we often just dismiss. Let's look at a trait that our society really misunderstands and see how what looks like a weakness is actually a powerful tool.
We've all seen it, right? Or maybe we even do it ourselves. Someone's walking down the street just muttering away. Is it a sign they're losing their grip? Well, psychology has a very different and much more interesting answer to that.
It's called external processing. And for people whose internal thoughts feel like a crowded, chaotic subway station, speaking them aloud actually creates order. It's not madness at all. It's another totally valid cognitive style, a high-level tool for managing information.
And get this, it has very real benefits. Research shows that people who talk themselves through a search, okay, where did I put my keys? They find objects up to 50% faster. Your voice literally becomes a targeting system for your mind.
So this isn't a bug. It's a feature of a specific type of cognitive hardware. When you talk to yourself, you create this bit of psychological distance. You're no longer just the player drowning in the problem. You actually become the objective coach, guiding yourself through it. It's really a masterclass in self-regulation, and another key role in our ecosystem.
Okay, now let's move on to an archetype that often gets dismissed as naive, but whose so-called magical thinking is actually an engine for human progress. We all know this person. They are the one who genuinely believes they can shower, get dressed, and drive across town in rush hour traffic all in about 11 minutes. This is a classic cognitive bias called the planning fallacy. Their brain consistently underestimates how long things will take, no matter how much evidence it has from the past.
And this quote just nails it. It's not malicious. Their brain is just wired for optimism. It selectively deletes inconvenient data about past delays or traffic jams or misplaced keys. For them, reality is just a much more efficient place.
So why on earth is this person essential? Because if we were all hyper-rational strategists, we would never start the truly ambitious, risky, world-changing projects. We need these magical optimists whose brains conveniently ignore all the reasons something is impossible, because they are the only ones with the audacity to actually begin.
And this brings us right back to our central theme. All of these different minds, the overthinkers, the survivors, the optimists, the stabilizers, they all form a single functioning cognitive ecosystem.
This is humanity's insurance policy. The deep thinkers find our purpose, but it's the survivors who keep the lights on when a storm hits. The optimists launch the moonshot, sure, but the routinists build the reliable systems that actually make it work. And the trend resistors, well, they're the ones who prevent all of us from marching off a cliff just because it's popular. You know, the most important takeaway from all of this is that your brain is not broken if it doesn't operate like some Silicon Valley supercomputer. It's simply tuned to a different frequency, designed to play a specific and vital role in the human orchestra. So I'll leave you with this question. If your brain isn't broken, if it's just operating on its own unique frequency, what role is it perfectly designed to play?